When the 2025 criminal complaint dropped on Big U, the world will be introduced to a dark trail of alleged crimes. But the complaint itself wraps up all of these activities under one umbrella organization, with the so-called Big U enterprise allegedly engaging in an array of criminal activity, including extortion, robbery, murder, human trafficking, wire fraud, bank fraud, other financial crimes, obstruction of justice, illegal debt collection, illegal gambling, and conspiracy to commit fraud. Some of these crimes seem absolutely crazy in the modern day and make you think more of the Black Hand mafia extortion scene in the Godfather movies than gangbangers in South Central LA. In fact, Big U actually previously referred to his life as a modern day mafia story, but things were much more complicated than that, because to cloak this alleged criminal activity, according to the complaint, Big U's non-profit was at the front and center, and this, along with his persona he presented to the public as a reformed gang member, actually allowed Big U to navigate both the criminal underworld and the halls of legitimate power and business at the same time. His non-profit umbrella organization, Developing Options, which controls a number of seemingly innocent entities attempting to do positive work in the community, actually received over $500,000 from the GRID program controlled by the City of LA, with a total of over $2.3 million from the City of LA being handed over, hundreds of thousands of which Big U allegedly withdrew personally as a salary. He would also allegedly embezzle funds that were meant for community work, in a practice where he would solicit donations from celebrities for his charities, then taking the money for himself personally. The criminal complaint later called Big U's organizations a front and part of a plan for Big U to control the streets of LA undercover, and according to wiretaps, Big U's persona as a reformed community activist was just a facade, and behind the scenes he was openly claiming how he was still the same man that they said he once was. Big U was also heard on a wiretap saying that no one can beef with him because he'd kill them, apparently even later bragging to someone about being the only gangster from his era still murdering people in the modern day and age. Big U's alleged right-hand man and enforcer and underboss was a man named Sylvester Robinson, aka Vay, with Mark Martin, aka Bearclaw, being a trusted lieutenant. Big U's name and crew pulled a lot of weight and called a lot of shots in LA for decades, particularly when it came to the nightlife. There's one infamous story about Big U getting into a fight outside of a nightclub in 2014 and a rumored deadly wave of violence and extortion that came soon after. In a video posted by TMZ, Big U is seen trying to enter a club with his friend who's being turned away, who then attacks the security. Big U decides to back up his friend, getting into the fight and ending up being floored by the Samoan security team, being left bloodied and carried away by the police.
Whoa! Whoa! Go! Go! Hey! Stop! 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 Okay, you stop! Oh! Get off the dude! Go! Stop! Hey! You, Mike! Hey, just stay down. Hold him. He's good. You, Mike. Hey, close the gate, Mike. Close it up. Hey, close it up. Get him inside.
Get him out. Get him out. Get him out. Get him out right now. Go. Get him out.
Be cool. Just be cool.
I don't want him in this. I don't. Get out.
All right, cool. Get him out here. Back up. Come on. You, come on. You. Big you straight girl. Huh? No, he just swung at my guard. Leave him on the ground. No, he goes to jail. He goes to jail tonight. Come on, let's go. Nothing to see, guys. Let's go. Hey guys, back up. Come on, what are you doing?
Big U later claimed that he had gone head-to-head with 15 Samoan security guards.
At the supper club up here. We was going in. It's only 30, 40 minutes left from the club. This dude hired something. Your homeboy house. Yeah, they won't let him in. I was like, I'm gonna stay out here with him. He just get off on the security guard for no apparent reason.
Get off, meaning?
He just fired on the dude.
Oh! Get off the dude, go!
All the security together is me by myself.
Big you straight girl?
So I made the assessment. It's 15 of them. You fit to get your whooped. But how the rules go, I'm gonna get down where I'm mad at. I took flight. So when I'm on the ground, I'm wrestling with the one dude came and kicked me. If you look at the film, he kicked me in the side of the face.
Back up. Come on. Hey, give me 1 fight diving over here. Back up. Back up, guys.
So the blood, while I'm on my back, wrestling with the blood filter in my eyes. I couldn't see.
Hey, guys, back up. Come on, what are you doing?
I think I did pretty good, me versus 15. You know what I'm saying?
Big U would also claim that in the aftermath, hundreds of goons from different gangs came to Hollywood following that incident to back him up.
And dudes from every set in LA really stood up and was offended by what they had seen. My homies is Bloods, that's Cuz, that's from every set was upset.
In a subsequent video, Big U is seen bloodied and in cuffs as rappers The Game and T.I., along with Big U's son and an army of 6-0s, square up to the police, initially believing that it was the police that brutalized Big U.
Are you trigger happy too?
We not bothering
You trigger happy? Hey, TMZ, put it on it. TMZ, hey, get the camera on Big U. Hey, listen, don't touch him. Police didn't do it. Club security did.
Hey, T.I.
Who did it?
T.I.
Police didn't do it.
T.I.
Who did it? Who did it? Club security did it.
But after the crowd realized that the security were responsible for jumping Big U, they begun to confront and scuffle with the security, with one of the people personally involved in beating up Big U taking off running from the mob.
Who did that to you?
Who did that to you? Please. Who did you out? They you up. Yo, people, who just did it? Who just did it? Put it down. Put it down.
Hey, Scott, I got you.
Then, rapper The Game even squares up to security himself, ready to fight.
Look at Game sweating the security right now on the police.
Then, what sounded like young Rollin' 60s members ready to crash out would escalate things further, looking for those responsible and saying that they had never seen Big U in that sort of state, with everyone trying to remove them from the situation before things escalate and get deadly.
I'm talking to you, 6-0 trip. I ain't never seen my like that. Who hit you though? Who hit you? Hey, what happened? No, I can calm the whole situation down. What happened? I can tell you.
Look, it's a whole Mexican standoff right now. We got a whole Mexican standoff with Game's crew and the police.
The Game would still try and square up to the security, who was saying that Big U has to go to jail tonight.
Watch your back, watch your back.
Watch out.
The whole situation was a mess, and according to one rumor, this actually led to a gang war between the Rollin' 60s, backed up by other gangs, and the Samoan security gangs that run the nightclub doors in Hollywood, with Big U saying in his Hip Hop Uncovered series how things got so serious that 4 to 5 people were expected to die over this, with some Redditors even taking this to mean that 5 people had indeed lost their lives as part of this beef.
It was a lot of violence against just clubs and security against clubs, and people expected 4 or 5 people to die. We got so many people dying over bull crap. I didn't really want to add to that. That's not the legacy I wanted to have. That was a misunderstanding, you know what I mean? Went too far. So we ended up shutting Hollywood down. We had to meet with the powers that be.
Now, I wasn't able to find any evidence or cases relating to murders that happened in Hollywood following this incident, but apparently after things reached a boiling point in the streets, the Supper Club and Big U had a meeting to try and resolve things. This ended in the Supper Club allegedly cutting Big U a check for $200,000 and doing a food drive for his community movement.
You know, we had sat down with the owners of the Supper Club. They wrote me a check for over $200,000. We used about $70,000, $80,000 to do a food giveaway, toys. It was amazing.
The Supper Club's giving all these free toys and food. They're underprivileged, right? And so I start talking to Big U, the organiser of the event. How come the Supper Club was so keen to be involved?
Well, we've been messing with them since back in, the incident we had. They want to reach back, reach out and help the community. For me, being able to take something bad that happened for me and turn it into a positive, instead of continuing to Consider that to be a negative. That's what I'm all about.
Supper Club later put out a public statement suggesting that Big U was the victim of a rogue security officer who took things too far, saying that Big U was not arrested and had no part in the violence, with club owners distancing themselves from the security that were working that night and promising that they would never book them again. Clearly, Big U was flesh and blood, like any man, and could also be caught slipping, but just as clearly from what came after, he was a formidable force in the streets who wouldn't accept this kind of violation lightly, and nightclubs would seemingly be a regular target for extortion attempts by the Big U enterprise. The 2025 criminal complaint would outline a situation where Big U shook down club owners, promising them T.I. and Wiz Khalifa to turn up to an event in exchange for 33% of the profits. These artists never turned up, but Big U demanded a $30,000 payment from the club, plus more of the profits, despite not keeping up his end of the deal, with a taped recording depicting Big U pressing the club owner and promising to tear the club up if he didn't get what he wanted, apparently vowing to bring 5,000 Rolling 60s members to destroy their club if he wasn't paid the money, and famous people weren't safe either. The criminal complaint would mention a litany of celebrities and athletes that had paid Big U a checking-in fee when coming to LA, checking in being an extortion method that out-of-town people often fall into, as they're pressured to get into contact with the local gang members, this often involving payments for protection and to not get robbed. The criminal complaint explained that checking in was a street tax that had to be paid to guarantee safety from gangs and criminals in the city, and according to the complaint, the Big U enterprise claimed control of LA and expected to collect tax from entertainers in the city conducting certain types of legit or illegal business. The criminal complaint outlined an incident where boxer Adrian Broner and his friends were part of a fixed dice game against some NBA players, who then checked in with Big U and allegedly paid him $100,000, after which Big U gathered his goons and went to confront Broner, allegedly roughing him up along with his friends for not checking in and for apparently cheating NBA players out of their money. But even as far back as 2020, people on Reddit would debate why Big U pretends to be a reformed gang member whilst also openly enforcing the checking in extortion method publicly. People knew that he was living a double life years ago, and this was an open secret in LA. Big U would even be seen in video clips on social media going to film sets where he had apparently forced the production to check in with him, saying that if they didn't, he would be taking all of their equipment.
Movie production in the hood. That's how we do it, young man.
Top flight, baby. Security.
GB running this here movie set in the hood.
Come on out here.
Coming out here and checking in with GB, getting these movies done. You better know it. You know what I mean? Anytime you want to do movies in the hood, just check it in. We can make sure it's done. Movies, videos. But if you don't check it in,
Oh well. Let's go check your.
we're gonna check you in, all right. We're gonna check in all of your equipment. We're gonna check in all of your equipment.
Big U was openly the gatekeeper for LA check-ins, warning out-of-towners in numerous clips that if you choose not to check in, you're not safe and you'll suffer the consequences, as well as saying that he too checks in when going to other cities.
When I go to Chicago, I respect Chicago wholeheartedly. I check in. When I go to Atlanta, I check in. When I go places, I check in. And I don't think nobody is safe. I know dudes right now from LA who are actual gang members who have been robbed for their jewelry, who real killers, like who really real killers. Like if he ever find out who did that, he gonna knock everybody down. You understand what I'm saying? You just caught slipping. You know, that's how it is. You know what I mean? And you try your best not to be slipping. And if you have the means not to, why do it? You know what I mean? And it's just about, sometimes it's about respecting, you know, yourself and then trying to get home. So, I mean, you know, I hear a lot of back and forth on that, but I mean, I don't know that it's a perfect answer other than me, myself, I check in.
But it appeared that Big U even had issues with podcasters like Gilly and Wallow of $1 Million Worth of Game.
Gilly and Wallow, they got a problem. I come to Philly, them the only two dudes I'm looking for. I don't got no problem with nobody else, no beef with nobody else but Gilly and Wallow right now.
Whack 100 and Luce Cannon would both tell academics that the Rolling 60s, on the orders of Big U, once stripped Gilly and his son and sold their jewelry for $100,000, with Whack 100 also revealing that Nipsey Hussle allegedly ended up giving Gilly $20,000 back because he felt bad for him.
Man, you better ask Gilly. Gilly no? You know, Gilly got stripped down by the homies because of Big U.
Wait, Gilly?
Yeah, the homie Rose and them stripped.
We're talking about Gilly the Kid. We're talking about the guy with the podcast. We're talking about $1 million worth of game.
Yeah. He got his son stripped down, and they stripped down Gilly.
What do you? Like for what? Like what? What do you mean? Gilly never got robbed though.
Yeah, him and his son got stripped. They stripped him in the 60s. Big U lined them up. They stripped him, took all their jewelry. The did it, came on the stage and said he did it, and they get mad at me like I did it. I ain't did it. I ain't do it. I wasn't there.
No.
What mad at me for?
Gilly official from Philly, man. Gilly not going like that.
Gilly wasn't had his hands up in the mother
there with his 2 kids. A father that couldn't protect his 2 kids. That's what he is. I told that, look, bro, don't be popping at me because with another saying, nigga, that from Rolling 60 Crip for real. Everybody know that is. He telling you, Big, you lined your punk ass up. Now, if you got your ass robbed over there, you and your kids, he said Nipsey went over there and gave it 20,000 because he felt bad for him.
However, it seems that whatever may have happened, Gilly would repair the relationship with Big U, as they could later be seen acting very friendly with each other. But no one was safe from the Rolling 60s extortion racket. But it seemed that the biggest targets were grey market businesses that couldn't rely on the law to protect them, particularly unlicensed smoke shop dispensaries, with Big U and his henchmen allegedly running an extortion racket where they would charge protection money to a store and rob them if they didn't pay up. In some cases, robbing them and giving some of the proceeds back if they agreed to line up other robberies and to prove what they were capable of doing. Footage of one armed dispensary robbery allegedly carried out by Rolling 60s on a dispensary that happened to be owned by Nipsey Hussle and Black Sam would even circulate on Reddit, and this is where Luce Cannon enters the picture. According to some sources, Luce Cannon, real name Tremaine Ashley Williams, had a tough upbringing in South Central LA, losing his father to a death sentence in prison. Luce found himself deep in the politics of LA streets and prison yards, eventually turning to the music business as a producer, making beats for people around him like Nipsey and Draco the Ruler, before turning to rapping himself, collaborating with Nipsey Hussle during his come-up, and allegedly almost getting signed by none other than Dr. Dre, who according to Luce produced his song Bringin' California Back featuring Nipsey Hussle and YG. But in the end, Dr. Dre ended up signing Kendrick Lamar, as he considered him to be the safer choice, who didn't have as many potentially disruptive ties to the streets.
Some piece in it, man.
Yeah.
You had a record with him in 2013, right?
Yeah. Bringing California Back, produced by Dr. Dre, with featuring YG.
Hold on, you said produced by Dre.
Yeah.
Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Like Andre Young.
Yeah.
Oh, worked with Dre?
Yeah.
How closely did you work with Dre on that? You just got the beat, or you were able to link with him?
He, when I went to jail, he was like, he wanted to sign me or whatever. It was me, Nip, and Kendrick Lamar. So at the end of the day, he was like, y'all getting people killed, people getting killed out there. I don't want to be around with this gangbang. I learned my lesson from dealing with the last situation, and he chose Kendrick Lamar.
That makes sense.
However, in another early interview, Luce would also imply that he was in fact the producer of the song, making the melody of the beat with a church piano while being locked up.
So you basically wrote everything. Did you produce that track too, right?
Yeah, I produced it. I did everything.
So when you're in jail, how were you able to kind of make that beat?
They had church, right?
Oh, okay.
I used to go in the church, use the keyboards like that. That's how I did it. And it came out dope. So.
No, for real. I remember that was the first song I actually heard, that you created and that you were in. I was like, hell yeah, this is dope as hell, because you had YG and Nipsey, and it was about, bringing Cali back, the hardcore, just kind of a party vibe with it too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just when I do music, and people don't even understand the hook, me singing on it, rapping. I did so it's I do everything. I make it easier for other artists.
Perhaps the beat might have been a collaboration between Luce and Dre, although according to a poster that was posted by Luce himself, the producer is tagged as Buckwheat on the beat, but perhaps this version was a remake. But anyway, Luce has indeed allegedly racked up production credits and writing credits on projects with numerous major artists like Rihanna, Snoop Dogg, The Game, Nas, and 50 Cent, and he supposedly even worked as the opening act for Drake and 21 Savage during their It's All a Blur tour, although he's not included in the Wikipedia page about the tour for some reason. These discrepancies seem to raise some interesting questions about Luce's background, or lack thereof. In fact, according to Luce's twin brother Jermaine Williams, much of Luce Cannon's alleged music production credits are actually not true at all.
Even though he has a little bit of music on his platform, he's got the Draco song, he's got the Nipsey song, he has claimed all kind of music success with people that I know for a fact he doesn't even know. He don't know Nas. But the Luce Cannon I know has worked with Nas for probably a decade. He doesn't know none of these other people that he's claimed to produce, that he's worked with. Have you heard some of his claims of his music success?
I could only go by what I did for him. He have songs with Game. He got songs with J-Rock. He got songs with Nip, YG. Songs that I produce. I can't speak on anything that he he's produced. I mean, that I heard little clips. People send me little clips. He would have been too young to work with these folks when they was doing their music and they did hits and all that stuff. So if people wants to believe the that he says, so be it. All I could do is say what I did with him.
Moreover, LA YouTuber Street TV, together with guests like the rappers Munchie B and Spider Loke, have claimed that Luce has stolen his entire public persona from an older hip-hop industry insider that also has the name Luce Cannon.
Got me on this Luce Cannon, anti-Luce Cannon, anti-fake Luce Cannon campaign is because I have a personal friend that I've known since, I want to say 13 years old, 14 maybe, that goes by the name Luce Cannon. That's been in the music business since I've known him. That he's introduced me to some of the biggest rappers that I've ever met. I met them through the real Luce Cannon.
Because you guys, I believe this is the reason why Luce Coochie Lips Cannon chose Luce Cannon as a name to run with, because of the credits that were already attached to it and the lack of a apparent profile that was so obvious. Because if you from rolling anything, especially 60s, I don't care if it's 90s, 40s, 30s, anything, and you have a name that includes O's, to eliminate the O's is so contrary to what we do when we play with words and represent what we represent. He had to take that name for the purpose of receiving the exact same credit that your partner was getting.
The real Luce Cannon hit me up during the MySpace years.
That's what it was, MySpace.
And he asked me, who is this dude, Luce Cannon? He's supposed to be from 60s. And I remember we had I think he called Steve Lobel because he knew Steve Lobel was tapped into the 6-0s. And he said that, I think Steve Lobel told him that, oh, it ain't nobody, there's nothing to worry about.
My mama, dad, homies, daughters, lokes, loved ones, everything I love and live for, my sister and my sons. Just the same thing I did. It wasn't Steve, but I hollered at Big U. He called me back with the exact same report, bro. Back in 06, when I ran across this mother content of Luce Coochie Lips Cannon lying on me, claiming he had met me and disrespected me, and I had no idea he existed.
I told you, don't say cuz, you not no crip.
Look how far he would go. That's why you guys know. He been trying this since 06.
Normally I wouldn't care.
Right.
But I grew up with the real Luce Cannon.
Right.
The real Luce Cannon is getting calls all the time about what this dude is doing, about claims that he's been with other celebrities that the real Luce Cannon never been with. So he's got to take these calls. Nah, I never did a song for 50 Cent. He has worked with Nas. He has worked with some major dudes.
Right.
This dude, the fake dude, is just putting it all out there.
Robbing dispensaries is one thing, but robbing song credits and your entire career history is just wild. But Luce's former partner, Jasmine Gigi Adams, also told Street TV that Luce has told many outlandish lies about himself, painting him as a possible pathological liar.
Tremaine, he kind of gets you into a place. I mean, it's real intense. When he first meets you, as you guys can all see, I'm sure, from the interviews that everybody has seen, the lies are outlandish, and he's very good at, when he's outed for the lies, he'll come up with an even bigger lie. And then he's got, little minions around him to support the lies, and then, next thing you know, you don't know what to believe, even though you have the proof in front of your face.
Okay, all right. How about Nas?
No, Nas is cool.
Okay,
Yeah,
what was it like when you were working with him?
It was just like, cuz was gifted a whole nother level. So it was like a different vibe. It was like out of here. It's like a different atmosphere.
What did you do with him?
Produce for him.
Oh, what did you produce?
The song with him and what's that fat name? I produced so many records, I be forgetting the damn names.
But I think that was kind of the reason why I stayed, because the fake Tremaine it's not like he had tons of money or anything when I met him. So I think it was more so about myself. It was just me.
When you look back at it, was there anything about him that you actually liked?
He was very persistent. He was very persistent. he was showered you right away with just like flowers, very persistent and, taking you out, kind of just treating you like, like a lady. He never pressured you for sex or anything like that. He was just very persistent, kind of came off as a gentleman. And then, of course, he's, telling you these lavish stories. I own Subways, I own GameStops, I have my life together type thing and stuff like that. And I had my own businesses too. So it was kind of like he makes you feel like you've met your match.
But whatever the case, Luce Cannon would eventually find himself in the podcast world, appearing frequently on LA's leading rap culture podcast, No Jumper, arguably becoming a loose link when it came to the secretive code of the streets. But before Luce had fully transitioned to a more sanitized media presence, he was allegedly towing the line for Big U in the streets, specifically conducting robberies of dispensaries that were being shaken down. According to the criminal complaint, on July the 5th, 2021, a robbery went down at an unlicensed dispensary that had been paying up to $25,000 a month to the Big U enterprise, but they ultimately got tired of being extorted and decided to stop paying up. On that day, 11 thugs were sent to the store, including Luce Cannon personally, with them running into the dispensary with guns and masks, robbing the store of cash, stock, and even sticking up the customers. Apparently during the robbery, one of the masked men put the store owner on the phone with Big U, who invited the victim to his home, and when he arrived there, he found Big U and the robbers with the proceeds of the robbery, telling the victim that he just robbed himself, giving him back some of the stolen things and demanding $10,000 so it doesn't happen again. Now, this is a crazy extortion method as it is, but to make matters even more crazy, years later, after falling out with Big U whilst on the No Jumper podcast, Luce Cannon would discuss this incident openly, saying how he found it strange how Big U would send them out on robberies and then the victims would later turn up to take their things back.
So basically it's like, cause he'll be like, he'll manipulate things, like we'll go and do something and as soon as we do it to show up to the house like 10 minutes later when we trying to counting everything, right? And we be like, how the f- they get that? Oh well, we're gonna just give them like $40,000 back and stuff like that, but cause it's actually putting us in paperwork, right?
Luce also claimed that Big U had supplied guns to the homies, but noted down the serial numbers for these guns as collateral.
Seen that get like 20 guns, and when he got 20 guns, he's selling them to the homies. But I'm like, why are you writing down the serial numbers? So it's like he was doing like that, and I didn't catch on. So it was like I'm waking up now. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm his right hand man. You get what I'm saying? So when it came down to like dirt and stuff like that, I'm gonna get it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Ultimately, it would seem that Luce Cannon's fallout with Big U was a big contributor to his downfall, as Luce would go on podcasts and lives on his own social media and speak openly about illegal things that he had done under Big U's leadership. Another crazy situation that emerged in the criminal complaint and on a podcast was an apparent run-in with the rapper Meek Mill, where Luce and other 6'0s had allegedly grabbed hold of Meek at a venue and threatened to kill him unless Rick Ross, Meek Mill's label boss, gave them $50,000, which was apparently paid up.
I heard Wack on the interview talking about what I did to Meek Mills.
Wait, you did something to Meek Mill?
Oh Lord.
It said y'all was trying to kidnap him. No, that's cap. There was a Big U portion of it.
Yeah. So basically, Meek Mills was talking real reckless on Twitter and stuff like that. So
talking reckless.
Doing
it now.
Yeah. So we caught him at the club where he was performing at. As soon as he walked in or whatever, all the security that was with him, they spent around and grabbed Cubs. Put on the phone with Ross.
Honey, all right, that's enough now. We're not gonna tell all the details.
No, we gotta hear this one.
I said, get on the phone with Ross.
This one gonna go high. What?
Get on the phone with Ross, neighborhood Crips. So he got on the phone with Ross. I took on the phone with Ross.
Wait.
Because we needed that bag, or because
was. Oh, he owed y'all money.
No, he didn't owe no money. We took the money.
Oh, this was some extortion. Oh.
Not extortion.
Ken, all right.
See, yeah, we don't want to.
See, I might have to probably bail him out after this interview.
We don't want to.
No. We just say Meek Mill stench on him. It's fine. Meek ain't gonna tell.
Look, we don't want to get the extortion part. It was just a business transaction. You get
how much y'all charging?
50. That's it.
50,000?
Yeah.
I hear Rose. Hey, look, I got this. You got this artist you pumping. You don't want this to get out. We need 50. He brought 52, Crenshaw, and 48. He brought that money. He brought it fast. And when he brought it, I hit Big Useless and said we on our way. Gave Meek Mills his stuff back and left.
Now, for the record, Meek Mill later denied this, and if one thing's clear, Luce Cannon is certainly somebody that will happily lie for clout. But Luce was seemingly so fresh out the streets, he didn't seem to realize that he shouldn't have been talking so openly about these crimes on podcasts. Combine this with the comments that he made about Nipsey Hussle's death and the subsequent cease and desist Big U sent to No Jumper, it was then emerging that Big U had a serious problem on his hands, as the inner workings of his street empire were now being aired out on podcasts for the whole world to hear. Apparently, as a result of a fallout between the two, Luce Cannon was now openly disrespecting Big U any opportunity that he had. But this wasn't just a spontaneous switching of sides. In actual fact, it seemed that Big U's downfall was orchestrated by one man, a former friend turned mortal enemy named Wack 100, who after befriending Big U's former enforcer Luce Cannon would discover a shocking revelation that Big U might have been involved in a sloppy murder in Las Vegas, with Wack ultimately conspiring to drip feed the information to the public and Big U himself in order to accelerate the downfall of his former friend turned enemy. But Wack 100 couldn't take all the credit, as the reality is the downfall of Big U was seemingly his own doing, as the 2025 criminal complaint would reveal just how dark and badly executed this alleged murder was. But despite this, it would be 4 years before anyone would learn the details, and by then it would be far too late for Big U to escape these serious charges.